let me cook.
Not
Because I know there's loads of people.
Is that what the burning smell was?
That's it.
So your take.
That sounds about right. I get that a lot of people they're like, PvP, worthless. Delete it. Now, I think that like WoW PvP, see when you're in arena, right? That makes it hyper sweaty, like inherently. But there's another type of sweaty, which is objective-based sweat. And for a lot of people, like, think about Overwatch. Historically, Blizzard were... And look, I know, Overwatch, good game, bad product. Overwatch, as the game designers made it, big thumb up, right? And they've always said, like, no, Overwatch has got to be objective-based. Like, that's how we've designed the game. It's more fun that way. I actually think WoW PvP is quite like that. I think Arena makes it hyper sweaty and niche. Because you've got to, you've got to so optimize around all the different classes and like, squeezing every little ounce of doing everything perfectly. And you've got to have so much game knowledge and then so much game sense, etc. And I think it's like the barrier to entry to like engaging with another human in a not in a 1v1, like in PvP to that very high level where you're actually, playing that game of cooldown based, like cat and mouse and stuff with the other person. It's a very high barrier to entry to be able to play at that level. Whereas in Battlegrounds, you don't need to play to that level because in the Battleground, it's not purely optimized around a straight fight, right? Like you're going to be thinking about your strategy, around the objective. So that's why I think that like Battlegrounds for me, they're way better. Like I would take a good squeaky Warsong Gulch over I'd, be taking any arena stuff, like as an example, just personally. Now, the problem is if you like Battlegrounds, then you got to do RBGs, right? The thing with RBGs is it's very hard to find people to do RBGs with. And, it's like saying, hey, hello, we're Riot Games. Would you like to play League of Legends? You can only queue as a 5-stack.
Scavenger hunt for multiple people, please.
Imagine if in LoL and Dota, you could only queue if you had a full 5-stack.
Fixed. Game fixed. Forever.
Dead.
Fixed. No one would play it, but it'd be fixed.
Exactly. It would be a brilliant game and no one would play it. Whereas with this, solo queue RPGs, you want to play a battleground, you want to get, some good PvP gear, get some conquest points, get a vicious mount. There are so many people who would never touch an arena who would touch a rated battleground, especially with the ping system facilitating, far more frictionless cooperative play.
You can mute everyone and still leave. You mute everyone and still win.
Mm-hmm.
With ping system and solo RPGs. And also a lot of it is the distributed responsibility. Distributed responsibility of being in a larger group works so much for World of Warcraft. It's why I think people raid more than they do M+. Because it's like, oh, look at that. Is that a magnifying glass on your behavior? Well, you wouldn't want that if you're not very confident. But in solo queue RPGs, you're like, I'm going to press the button and I'm going to go in. And I don't have to talk to a soul if I don't want to. And I can ping things. And if we lose, I can always say, well, it wasn't my fault. And you can do that forever. And you can just solo queue, go in, after the other, just bang, 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 bang. You can do that all day. You can live the most toxic life imaginable if you want to.
That's the beating heart of every successful multiplayer online game.
Exactly. Like, even I was playing Apex recently. And that game, since I didn't basically play it since launch. I took a hankering for it a while ago. And I literally just played a couple rounds of it. Man, this is so... it's so much quicker now. It's so much quicker, so much more engaging. Runs don't last anywhere near as long as they used to. And it's been a while since I played a game that's a multiplayer game that I just press a button and go. And that was really conducive to me just being hyper aggro at the start, losing, going, I'll just go again, whatever. Or even after a close call or even a victory, I'm like, that was good as hell. That was like a 15-minute, 20-minute gameplay session of just fun that I could hit the button again. I didn't have to think about who was paired with or anything. Which is one of the problems with how some people play M+. Where some people play M+ like that, will just try to find a group and go. And that works okay. But the day of EU RBGs, Russian pre-made team, win trading calling, now absolutely manimal, 100%. But it's fine because Blizzard will definitely ban those people. But otherwise, yeah. I feel like this is the thing that could actually unlock PvP for a lot of people. Rated PvP, that is.
Yeah, and
Because
then
the rated is where you get clear feedback and you get access to like bigger rewards. And because of the lack of responsibility, you can just grind it out. You can just keep going until you win with no effort. Just time. Same with joining raids in World of Warcraft, but easier. Same with queuing up for dungeons. You don't need to know shit. You'll just eventually win if you go hard enough. And that's what World of Warcraft has actually kind of always been.
Yeah.
In a way. Try enough and you'll get it because the game's not that hard. That's largely been it in the past. For especially with 40-man raids and like 25-man raids and stuff.
And by increasing the supply of players into the rated battleground system, yeah, you know, there's a lot more sweat, but like more people are going in, right? So there will be more people like you who are going in. You know what I mean, right? Like it'll expand the player base, which will probably mean it'll be a bit more approachable than it would have been otherwise. And then this would create for Blizzard the incentive to make battlegrounds, because like what incentive do they have to make BGs?
Yeah.
You know, not that much, right? So I think, yeah, I think that could be incredible for the game. Should also just mention, there's a really nice Gladiators Slither Drake this time round. If you scroll down, there you go.
I scroll broke.
But more importantly, below that, we've got these owl cats. I think the owl cats look really cool.
Nice, yes.
So that's certainly something that I would say is worth getting.